have ongoing negotiations in Iran and with Iran. That hasn't stopped. And we could have at least an idea by 1 or 2 days from now, but the blockade continues to hold 100%. We had a very good conversation, and he was hit, and he hit back. They both agreed through me to stop, and we're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal. Strait will open up right away. It'll open up immediately upon signing, which could be in 2 or 3 days.
That's President Trump on the recent strikes between Israel and Iran as Israel responded to Iranian strikes Sunday. These exchanges back and forth, the first since an April ceasefire, the president remaining optimistic a deal could come within the week with Iran, but Hezbollah and Lebanon are still out there. Oil prices this morning are pulling back. Take a look at the price of crude, back below $90 a barrel, down 2% at $89.16. The U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz remains in place, and CENTCOM is redirecting more than 130 vessels since April 13th. Oil prices, of course, have moved higher since before the blockade, impacting America's allies, including Greece. My next guest is the leader of the Greek energy industry. He is in Washington this week, meeting with top White House officials. Joining me now is the man himself, Greek Minister of Environment and Energy, Stavros Papastavrou. Minister, great to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
And I want to get first a status check from you. You met with Secretary Wright, Christopher Wright, the Energy Secretary. You also met with Secretary Doug Burgum. What are you trying to do with the U.S. with regard to energy right now?
Well, Greece is a strategic ally of the U.S. On the energy sector. Greece has emerged as a strategic anchor and a force of stability in the region. Greece is having the infrastructure and the geographical position to allow U.S. LNG to reach the Southeast Europe in order to phase out the Russian gas. Both the EU and the U.S. have agreed that we need to phase out the Russian gas. Russia has weaponized the natural gas for a number of countries in the Southeast Europe. And I think we all realize what has been said in the U.S. long time ago, that energy security is national security.
Absolutely.
So for the security of the region, we need to have diversification. We need not to rely on the Russian gas. And in that sense, we're having U.S. LNG coming through Greece, through Revithoussa and FSRU station, LNG station, through Bulgaria, Romania, Moldova, reaching Ukraine, and providing to this country an energy diversification which is necessary. At the same time, we're working together with ExxonMobil and Chevron in order to activate our hydrocarbon industry. We're having the first exploratory drilling. We're going to have a drilling in Greece after half a century.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Greece will be a natural gas producer in the coming years.
That is wonderful. Look, what you just said, it seems so obvious to so many people that you want to have U.S. LNG for Europe as opposed to Russian oil and gas. Why has it taken so long? I mean, this whole time that Russia has been attacking Ukraine and this fight has been underway, you still have members of the European Union buying oil from Russia.
I think because Russia has managed to have very low prices, and people have misunderstood that you have a cheap price when you don't have a secure price. When you don't have a secure supply, that's not a cheap price. The security of the supply is a major factor for the energy security of every country. Mm-hmm. And I think countries now realize that what they thought was affordable ended up not to be affordable, because if you take the prices that has went skyrocket, you realize that this was an option. At the same time, to be fair, the European Union now has taken a decision that will totally phase out until the end of 2027 the Russian gas.
Yeah.
So even with a delay, I think we're all on the same page that Russian gas should be out of the Europe. And Southeast Europe is an area that still will have 14, 15 BCM coming from Turk Stream of Russian gas entering Europe. So we are in a key area to completely phase out the Russian gas.
Yeah, that is very powerful. And the fact that you are here talking with officials at the White House about that U.S. LNG is so powerful as well. Now, you just mentioned hydrocarbon.
Yes.
You're taking a page out of President Trump's book by doing all in, right? You're going all in on everything, all hands on deck with regard to energy. Oil and gas, plus sun, plus wind.
Maria, we need to develop our domestic resources. Every country should do that. It's a common sense. The U.S. did it, we should do it. What does Greece have, other than its being a beautiful country? It has wind, it has solar, it has hydro, and it has potentially hydrocarbons. We should develop all of them. We should leverage our geographical position, and these two should lead to affordable prices for the Greek consumer and the Greek economy. So that's what we're doing. We haven't been doing it for 50 years. That was a mistake. Now we're accelerating and running fast. As I said, with ExxonMobil, hopefully in February 2027, in less than a year, we're going to have the first drilling, exploratory drilling. And Chevron is going to be doing, south of Crete, seismic survey by the end of this year.
Wow.
So we're moving fast.
Well, you and the leadership team there in Greece have completely turned around the Greece economic story. Congratulations.
Prime Minister Mitsotakis has done an amazing job from being 10 years ago on the brink of bankruptcy.
Absolutely.
Now we're outpacing our European allies. We have unemployment down from 18 to less than 8%.
8%, wow.
Kyriakos Mitsotakis has sliced down more than 80 taxes.
Yeah, that's what I'm congratulating you. You've turned things around. Congrats to you in Greece. Great to see you, Minister. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
Thank you for being here. Stavros Papastavrou. We will see you soon. We'll be right back with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Stay with us.